So one of the first things we talk to clients as we start moving closer to construction is having adequate insurance for the construction of that home. So the process is we start talking about a contract to build a custom home. We've already done the design and the planning. We know the client wants us to build their home and we've signed a contract. One of the steps now is to ensure that the client has the right type of insurance. So as your builder, we cannot insure your property because you own it. So it's something that you have to insure. It's called builder's risk in many topics. It's kind of the way it's called in the industry, but each company has its own name for it. The point is there's construction insurance, and what it does is it scales to the point of construction. So when we put a foundation in the ground, you're paying for enough insurance to cover that foundation. When the house is framed, when the house is roofed, when the windows go in, your insurance is covering all of those items that have been installed against loss. Loss can look like fire, loss can look like a hurricane, loss can look like flooding in many areas, and high winds certainly do damage. So a builder's risk policy covers the home while it's being built. If ever a house burned down, you would want to have enough insurance to pay to replace the labor and material that was lost to that fire. So that's the basic idea. Now let's talk a little bit about what it looks like 5 years down the road, because we're in a very tumultuous financial times. So COVID hit and prices started to change. They went down and then they went up, and they went up significantly, and they've come back down somewhat, but the cost right now to replace your home is what your insurance should cover. It doesn't matter what your home cost 5 years ago to rebuild, because if it burns down tomorrow, you want to have adequate coverage to pay for it, right? You need to hire a builder, you need to hire an architect, you need to do all those things that it takes to build a house. Now your house is going to be custom because it's one. We may use the same foundation, we may not, but everything about it is unique and custom, and the design is going to be custom. We want you to have a policy that covers everything to rebuild that house. Many, many, many times we meet with clients and they're inadequately insured and they never rebuild that house. They have an existing foundation, it's too big, they can't afford to put the house back on it. Many times they end up being forced to sell it. So don't get yourself caught in that situation. Talk to your insurance company. What is their process for annually double checking what it costs to replace your house, because you need replacement costs. If your insurance company doesn't help you and answer your questions, which most of them will, think about hiring a custom builder to develop a cost to replace your home. That'll give you a good budget range to understand what today's costs are for home replacement. So I hope that's helpful. We talked a little bit about construction. We talked a little bit about existing homes. The farther you go down the road and the farther you get away from original construction, the more complicated it is to determine a value for replacement. But as far as I'm concerned, you need enough money to rebuild your house the way it is today and build it the way you want to. So consider talking to your insurance company, making sure you're adequately insured, because none of us want to have a fire or a flood. That's for sure, God forbid. But if it does happen, we want our families to be covered and be able to get back into their home as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. Give us a follow if you're thinking about building a custom home, or if you're just interested in the process of building a custom home. We'd like to have you as a follower. We're putting out new videos every week. Thanks.